Today's daf. This is the Shabbos is daf Dalid. We are actually up to the Mishnah of Dalid Amid Aleph on the bottom of the page. This is the Gemara for Erev Pesach. We're going through the different cases, which are sort of a little bit exceptional. Before finally we're going to get to the classical example of Eidim Zaymin. So what happened was they come in and say, we testify that this person, he owes Reuven or Shimon $200. The Nimtzu Zaymin. They were found liars. Now they tried to make Reuven pay $200 when he didn't have to, but they also lied. So the mayor says, Leikin umishamin. They'll get double punishment. They're going to get malchus because they lied, and they're going to pay the $200 because that's what they try to do, to make Reuven pay, an innocent person pay $200. Why does the mayor say this? One second. Shaloi Hashem Hamevin de Makos Mevin de Tashlum. He says there's two separate avedas here. One is Vasisan like Hashazamam Lasses Lachiv Hazama, so we punish you directly. The other one is Loisana, but you're not allowed to lie. Two separate psukim. Because of two separate avedas, we are going to punish you one for each one. The Rabbanah, so according to the mayor, in most cases, you'll get double punishment. The Chachamim say, so we're up to Davdalad Amad Aleph in the Mishnah, and we had the ordinary case where Reuben said that, the Eidim said that Reuben owed Shimon $100, turned out to be the liars. So the mayor holds they get two punishments, two penalties. One, because they intended to harm an innocent person, they paid the money that they wanted to pay. And the second thing is they'll get malchus, because they lied. And the Chachamim say, you don't give a double punishment. Why not? Because you can only punish one and not two. We'll soon see in the Gemara what's going on here. You cannot give a double punishment. In that case, similarly, if they come in and say that Reuben did something that he deserves, let's say he ate treif and we warned him and everything else, he deserves 39 lashes. They're found to be liars. So how many lashes should they get? They wanted to give an innocent person lashes. They should get the same thing. They will get 80 lashes. That was double. Why? Again, Rameir, there's two averas there. One is Leisanda Bereach Chakr. You lied, and therefore for that you get punished. And and you try to do something. Now, even though Leisanda Bereach Chakr is a lav she'ein by Maisa, and you don't get malchus for a lav, which is, all you did is said words. We already learned before that it says in Pasuk v'tzedika is a tzaddik v'shir a Russia. It says that you should find that the Eidim who tried to hurt somebody and make someone else incriminate. Then the second pair of Eidim came and rectified the situation, brought back the innocence to the first person. So then, hakas a Russia. Once we know that you give malchus, then we go back and say, so what aveda did they do? So the Vizdikuz Tzaddik reflects in the Leisana, you get malchus. Ramir holds you'll get two punishments. Why? Because do them sukkim. Rashi learns the reason, others learn a different reason why, but that's how Rashi learns, because two different sources to them sukkim. However, the Divrei Ameh, Chachamim say, ain't like an alabah. You only get one punishment, because there's only one punishment, we get not two. Now the Gemara will explain. It says the Gemara is Abdal on the base. I understand why you don't get two punishments. It says you only give one punishment. What? You only get a single punishment for one aveda. You'll only get one for one act. You'll only get one punishment. Like true, it's true. Maybe two different psukim, but it's one act. You try to make somebody pay money, didn't have to. One punishment. El Rameir, my time, Rameir, where does he get the idea you get two punishments? Amar Ula says, you know where he learns it from? Gomar, he equates it to Moitzi Shemra. He learns it from Moitzi Shemra. Somebody goes out there and he marries a girl and he says, she wasn't a virgin like I thought she was. And he accuses her of committing adultery. And that's called, and then it turned out to be that he was lying. So it's a Moitzi Shemra. He was trying to pass a false name. And over there, the din is, you get two punishments. You get malchus, and you'll have to pay. You'll get malchus of the Yosser Oisev, you got to punish you for making a story, and you also get the punishment that you have to you try to make a forfeit, but also you get a penalty. You get a penalty. So we see you get two punishments. So that's what Amir says. Every Eim Zayman is like Moitzi Shemra. So you learn from Moitzi Shemra. Mama just Shemra Leikim Mishalim, you get both punishments. I've called Leikim Mishalim. So what are we talking about? Malam Moitzi Shemra Sheken Knas. The whole Moitzi Shemra is a penalty. And what we know about penalty is that if the Torah wouldn't have told us that you have to pay, we would never on our own come up with this idea you have to pay. If you borrow $100, we know you have to pay back $100. You steal $100, you got to pay it back. That's moment. You stole 100, you pay back 100. Here it's a penalty, and because it's a penalty, you can't compare anything to it. So the whole Moitzi Shemra is a penalty. So therefore, you get two punishments. It's a chiddush. Can't compare other things to it. So the Gemara, Sahara Meir, Sovel Meir holds like Rabbi Akiva. A Meir holds like Rabbi Akiva. We learned before the Amar Eidim Zaymi Knasu. He says it's also a penalty. They only say words. It's not a ma'isa. The whole thing is a chiddush by Eidim Zayim as well. So penalty, and not only that, they didn't do any damage yet. They were intending to do damage. Nothing happened. So therefore, because nothing happened, it's a chiddush. So Moitzi Shemra and Eidim Zayim are very similar. So Eidim Zayim also, we compare to Moitzi Shemra, that you'll get both punishments. That's one version. Others will hear the same discussion, but regarding another penalty altogether. When you have a carbon, you shouldn't leave anything over till the morning. In the morning, you have to burn it. But you don't get malchus. So why not? Why do you get malchus? The Torah says clearly don't leave your carbon over till the morning. So we have two reasons why. So first the Torah says don't, and then the Torah says there's a remedy, burn it. And we have a rule, whenever you have a lav, and we'll learn the third parak, whenever you have a lav followed by an asay that rectifies the lav, a lav hanitik lasay, the din is you don't get malchus. Why else did the Torah have this juxtaposition of the asay and lisa? Let me tell you, saying you don't get malchus, Rabbi Akiva says, I agree with you that you don't get malchus, but not because the lav is going to say. You don't have to come to that. He says, Loi min hashem uzes, not for that reason at all. What exactly did you do? Nothing. You were passive. You just didn't go ahead and burn the carbon. Any lav that has no activity, you don't get malchus. No, why doesn't Rabbi Yehuda say the same thing? Must be Rabbi Yehuda holds that a lav she'ein by ma'isa, you do get malchus. So if Rabbi Yehuda says you should get malchus for leaving behind your carbon over the time that it's meant to be, the reason why you don't is because it's a lav that's rectified with an asay. That's what this seems to be. That's a big chiddush, that you're inactive, passive, and you still get malchus. What do you know it from? Amrul says, you know why? Now we have the same discussion again. He learns it from Moitzi Shemra. He will compare this to a Moitzi Shemra. He'll compare the case of Noisei Moitzi Shemra, but then you get double punishment. Sorry, Moitzi Shemra, there's no activity. You just said a few words. You made up a story, so there's no ma'isa. You didn't do anything, and yet we're going to give you malchus. So too, a lav she'ein by ma'isa will receive malchus. So how come by noisa you don't? Because it's a lav hanitik lasei that's rectified with a positive mitzvah. Gomar me moitzi shemra, ma moitzi shemra lav she'ein by ma'isa lo get malchus. Af kol lav she'ein ma'isa lo get malchus. Says the Gemara, what is it? 1 second. Malim Moitzi Shemra. No, Moitzi Shemra is different. Shekain Loikim Mishalim. Moitzi Shemra has a chumrah that you don't find in other places. You get two punishments for one activity. So that teaches that Moitzi Shemra is very different than all other mitzvahs. So therefore, over there also, even though it's an inactive, it's a passive avera, you'll get malchus. How can you compare other avedas to Moitzi Shemra? It's unique. Elam Rish Lakish, you're right. Rish Lakish says, we learn it from Gomam Eidim Zaymin. Eidim Zaymin as well. It's a lav she'ein by ma'isa, just saying a few words, and yet you get malchus. So too, a lav she'ein by ma'isa, you get malchus. Says again, Eidim Zaymin is unique. So first one says mal Eidim Zaymin lav she'ein by ma'isa, and yet loikin olok. After lav she'ein ma'isa, look, you get malchus. Says mal Eidim Zaymin, no Eidim Zaymin, she'kein ain't sichen hasra. Something unique. Every single, we learned so many times in Sanhedrin, other places, that every single averi, before you get punished, you have to be warned. And we learned, even according to one opinion, you have to tell them exactly, precisely what the punishment is. Even if it's death, it's not good enough. You have to tell them it's skilless, right? So, but by the Gemara, we had Ksubas stuff. The Gemara says you can't give Hasra to Eidim Zayim, because when are you going to do it? You do it right before, you intimidate them. Do a little bit before, they're going to say, yeah, we forgot. So it's not possible. But bottom line is, Eidim Zayim, there's no warning, and yet you get malchus. So therefore, even though it's a lav she'ein by ma'isa, also you get malchus. You can't compare anything to it. You don't need a warning. That can't be a reason. That can't be a reason why you get malchus if it's ein by ma'isa. Moitzi Shemra does not have that chumrah. You're telling me because of that chumrah, that you don't need a warning. That's why you get malchus, even though it's passive. Moitzi Shemra, you do get a warning. And beforehand, and yet you still get malchus. So the fact that you don't need a warning has no impact on that, no bearing on that. So the Gemara says, yeah, but Moitzi Shemra on the other hand has a unique halacha that you get two punishments for one act. But in Zayim you don't. So the Chazal, they go back and forth. Each one has a chumrah, but the chumrah cannot be the cause why you get malchus if it's passive, because the chumrah in this one is not the same chumrah as the other one. So we see that chumras have no bearing. Are they different? What's the common? Both have a common is, even though it's a passive avera, talking or what do you call it? They're both passive, they're just talking. It's a lav shem ma'isa, and yet get malchus. So it's the same thing here by noiser. I said everywhere in the Torah. A lav shem ma'isa, you should get malchus. And that's why by noiser, we need a new reason, lav hanigla say. That's what Peter says. I've called lav shem ma'isa, like to get malchus. What are you talking about? Malat tzad shava sheben sheken knas. First of all, they're both a penalty. Aiden Zaymin is they didn't do anything, and yet we punish them, so it's a penalty. And Meijer Shemer as well. It's just words, he said. And we're going to make you pay, and we're going to give you a malchus, and we're going to make you pay a double punishment because it's a knas. And we said before, knas is a chiddush. You can't compare laws to a knas. Holakasha. Rabbi Yehuda loy savalok Rabbi Aim Zayman didn't do anything. Yeah. Well, why am I paying? No, not doing anything. The moment I made you actually, if let's say I said that Reuven killed Shimon, if the Bezin killed Reuven, the Eidim are free, scot free. If Bezin does not kill Reuven, then the Eidim get killed. But so what do? Nothing resulted from their words. Nothing resulted from their words. So that's called a knas. Why the pain? Knas, a moment is I made you a loss. I made you a loss. I got to reimburse you. Here, no loss happened yet. Nothing happened. It's an intention, and you're making me pay for an intention that I had.
Other words of saying lav shem b'maisa.
No, lav shem b'maisa means that we don't care what the result is. What did you do? I said words, and if it resulted in something is not the point. The point is words is not a maisa. Here you didn't do it. It's a knas. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Kiva holds the knas, and we said before Rabbi Meir agrees, but Rabbi Yehuda doesn't agree. Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Kiva. He holds it's not a knas. He holds it's not a knas. That Ein Zayim is not a knas, because that's the Avera. The Avera is a kasha zama, what they did, what they want to do. In fact, we had a thesis in Baba Kama of Dalde Rivo that wants to say that even though we have a rule that once you made the guy pay, let's say once you carried out the punishment, you no longer are Ein Zayim, but he says when it comes to money, we don't say kasha zama le kasha rasa, because you can always reverse, get the money back. So by money, the Riva was mechadish that there's no such thing as kasha zomim. So you actually, sometimes you did it. And still, yeah. So therefore, it reflects that the whole thing is not really a class. Is malat? But that's another question. Malat is a general question we ask. Okay, but true, the chumras for Moitzes Shemra, you get double punishment, and the chumra for Eidim Zayim, you didn't do anything. Sorry, you don't need hasra. They're not the same chumrah, but what they do have in common is there is a chumrah. So maybe the fact that they have a chumrah is why they have to, why they get punished, even though it's lav shem ma'isa. But in other places we don't have a special chumrah. How do you know that you get malchus? What's this rule that Rabbi Yehuda says every lav, even though there's no ma'isa, you get malchus? Rabbi Yehuda tzad chamol leparach. All the Rishonim ask this question that sheyesh b'had tzad chamor is a very hard question. And basically, you can undermine every single halacha. Say, well, we can't compare this to that, and then you say, well, every time you do this matzah and all that, they have chumras. What's pshat to have chumras? So what if they have chumras? But the chumras we just pointed out are not the same. What do you mean that the fact that they have a chumrah? So they say what it means is that they don't have just an ordinary chumrah. It's a unique chumrah that you have nowhere else. Getting a double punishment for one ma'isa is nowhere else. You don't need hasra. You don't find it anywhere else. The only one we had is by a ma'isa, so a masis. You don't need hasra. So therefore, it's not stam chumrah. It's a very unique chumrah. But stam chumrah is abundant. So abundant. Okay, that may have made logic. He said there's two different averas. Highly So what do they do? The pasuk you shouldn't lie if it's not being used for Eidim Zayim, because they don't punish him for that. Someone asked a few days ago, if there's a punishment of Eidim, how do you know that you're not? Where's the Hazorah? Every time the Torah punishes you, there has to be another pasuk that says, "Don't do it." By Eidim right away it says, So they say the pasuk don't lie. That's the warning. Eidim Zayim are liars. That's the warning for Eidim Zayim. But so he uses Lisana to say that's another form of punishment. And he says it's a punishment. That's why you get two different punishments for one false aiders. What does he do? How does he know warning for Zayim? The rest of the people, Yishma'u the Yiro. You want that everyone should watch what happens to the Aiden Zayim and the they shouldn't do this anymore again. So they shouldn't do it again. So he says clearly for this pasuk, Yishma Viro, Yisifu. That's there's no punishment for them. That's a law. Don't do this. Don't replicate what they're doing. But what do they do with that pasuk then? They're saying you need we need two warnings for the Torah. They need that lahachrosa. That the din is that that when you punish somebody, you want the whole world to know why he was punished, so they should learn from him and not do the same mistake again. And says that we're having more than 4 people need a hachrosa, and one of them is Ein Zayim. That's what the man yishmiro. You, the Rabbanu, use the whole pasuk for that. Meir says no. Yishmu v'yiro is making an announcement. V'lo yosifu is a warning. Don't you dare do this like that. What is a punishment? Okay, the Mishnah when it comes to money, if the Eidim Zayim were found liars and they wanted to make the guy pay $100, each 8 pay $50. They divide the money. They say you owe $200. They found out Zayim, they're liars. They divide it. If they come along and say this guy, did 8 trades something, I buy him 40 malchus. They were found liars. Each one gets the full 40. So how do you know you split the money, and how do you know that you don't split the malchus? Or by Nema it says Russia b'chayavi malchus. If you split the money, because the 2 Eidim each take half. Why aren't you saying the malchus? The Nema Russia b'chayavi is the bezin. It says the word Russia b'chayavi malchus. Being hakas of Russia, and then it says also Russia by those who are chay bezin. It says Russia lamus ma'alahal ein misal machsi. You can't kill somebody halfway. Afkan ein malchus machsa. So therefore it says Russia. We compare malchus to misa, malchus to malchus misa medus, and therefore you can't divide it in half. Rava agrees in principle with Agzera Shava, but the reason why he doesn't agree with this to use Agzera Shava here is because he says how can you compare a dover she'efsher from a dover she-efsher? The reason why you can't kill someone halfway is you can't kill somebody halfway. But malchus, you could split it in half. Maybe you should. In fact, what does Abaya say? They will ask Abaya, how can you compare malchus to killing somebody? There's no choice there. So one of the answers is by Eidim also. Think about it. There's 39 lashes, and you have 2 Eidim. In most cases, you have 2 Eidim. How do you split 39 to 2? Each one gets 19 and a half. You can't do a half lash. So therefore, it's the same thing. It's E-Efsha from E-Efsha. Oh, so then the question is, if you have 3, then you could split it into 13 each, and whatever. But that's the general answer, one of the answers. Rava says, we need to make sure that you get the same punishment, exactly the same punishment. You want to kill the guy, therefore we'll kill you. No, so malchus, you want to give him 40 malchus. Or at least, okay, so, sorry, money to say, sorry, by lashes. You wanted to give the guy 39 lashes for whatever he did, so therefore, kashazama, you got to do the same thing. So you want to do money the same thing. Mama mitzvah, malchus like mitzvah. What does that mean? Money combines malchus. When you pay back the guy money, the main purpose here is reimburse the person for what you try to harm him. You try to make him pay $100. He received $100. Why should he make a profit on it? So therefore, how do you get 100 from 2 Eidim? Each one gets 50. When it comes to malchus, he gains nothing by you getting lashes. So what's the point of giving the Eidim lashes? A punishment, just purely a punishment to the Eidim. Well, you wanted to give 39 lashes. You got to get 39 in place. Okay, we'll pause over here.